Now, let us not forget at all that the majority of voters do not identify with either of the two major parties. They actually identify as independents. This graph right here, as a reminder, the share of US adults who identify with select political affiliations. And we see that 49%, almost 50% of voters in this country identify as independents, and you have the two major parties, both the Democrat and the Republican Party, with 25% each. Now, Dr. Cornel West is a game changer, so well known internationally. Dr. West can take on any challenger. The debate process is going to be quite interesting. Both the Republican and Democratic parties, Jessica, in my opinion, should have Dr. Cornel West on that stage.
Yeah, Dr. West is someone who absolutely has a policy platform, clearly, that represents poor and working people across the country. And he's also someone who's an independent thinker when it comes to social issues. I remember him being asked about cancel culture in the country. And he said, when someone says something that you disagree with, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's an opportunity to teach them and educate them. If we want to live in a world where it's reflecting our values, we have to believe the world can change. So we have to believe people's views can change, which means if they say something that's hurtful or something that rubs you the wrong way, talk to them, don't cancel them. We're not gonna get anywhere with that kind of an attitude. I really appreciate his perspective there, and I think a lot of people across the country will as well. The closer we can get to a political system where we have more than two parties, which very clearly, as you've laid out, don't represent the population or their political views, I think the better off we are, the better off our democracy is. And I would like to see the People's Party as well as the Green Party be backing Cornel West as the nominee for president. We'll see what we get there. But I really think we need to consider the 40% of people that don't vote, because we're gonna hear the argument, don't split the ticket, everybody just vote for Joe Biden. That kind of an attitude, when we voted for Hillary Clinton, got us Donald Trump already once. We need to try something different. There's a chance here DeSantis is the nominee and Trump is running with the third party as well. We need to be prepared for any type of scenario and not have this nihilist perspective of these two parties are all we'll ever have. Because it's not gonna be a scenario where there's a split three-way ticket between Cornel West, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. Because there's 40% of the country that doesn't participate. You can't blame a third party candidate for votes that you could have gotten from people who are not even inspired enough to show up. You have to hold the party accountable for not representing poor and working people, and that leading to them either not participating or exiting the party. So we need people like Cornel West running so we can get closer to a political system where people are actually represented.
That's exactly right, Jessica. You hit the nail on the head, because people are making a conscious decision not to participate because they don't believe that the system will bend towards them. They don't believe that their material conditions will change. And the point that you made, that the political parties, particularly the Democratic Party, who will blame any loss that they may have on a third party candidate, they have and have had every opportunity to work in a robust way to change the material conditions of those who suffer the most in the United States of America. And instead of doing that, and let us not, and neither one of us are letting the Republicans off the hook, but I wanna rest right here with the Democrats, because they will be the main ones who blame a Green Party ticket, that they allowed the child tax credit to expire. The Willow Project, one of the worst drilling projects thus far, even worse than anything that President Donald J. Trump did. When you have President Joe Biden, who promised not to allow drilling on public lands. They did not restore the child tax credit. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act did not pass. The George Floyd Policing Act did not pass. They didn't allow rail workers to go on strike or hold robber barons or the rail barons accountable for not allowing those workers, by way of example of what's happening among labor unions in this class, the working class in this country, did not stand up for them and allow them to be able to use the strongest tool that they have in their toolbox, which is the strike, or for the administration in this Congress to strike a deal with those rail barons to say, not on our watch will you treat workers like this? Those rail workers are very much symbolic, in my opinion, Jessica, of the suffering that other workers face. We don't have universal health care in the United States of America. We don't have universal paid leave in the United States of America. We have in some states in this country, in the majority of the states in this country, we do not have universal breakfast or lunch programs in the United States of America. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, they continue in a very bipartisan way to increase the military budget above all, while people suffer domestically in this country. So Jessica, I am all with you. I am so glad that Dr. Cornel West is shaking this thing up, that he is running as a Green Party candidate. And your point, which I haven't heard many people make, that Donald J. Trump may bolt too as well, the Republican Party, and shake it up that way too. There is going to be forces to be reckoned with in 2024, and nobody should sleep on these forces, because the people have spoken. That 40% of people who don't vote as you laid out, and then the 49% of people in this country who don't rock with either of the two major parties. Well, let's get ready, baby, to rumble.